Mulțumim că v-ați alăturat conferinței noastre pe diverse teme de resurse umane și înainte de a mă prezenta și a-i prezenta pe speakerii din acest panel, permiteți-mi să le mulțumesc organizatorilor pentru această inițiativă. Este primul eveniment de acest fel, de această învergură și sperăm ca anii viitori să crească și să avem mult mai mulți participanți și expozanți și oameni interesați în acest subiect. Și înainte de a invita pe speakerii de astăzi, vreau să mă prezint eu. Sunt Loreda Dragomir, Managing Partner la Headhunting Agency și partener Best Places to Work. Sunt foarte mult implicată și susțin foarte mult EDI și cred că noi putem face diferența. Permiteți-mi să invit pe scenă alături de mine pe 3 oameni pe care îi cunosc de mult și care alături de mine luptă pentru această schimbare. Și o să încep cu Leonard Rizoiu, care este Managing Partner la Leo HR. O să-l prezint în detaliu imediat.
Great. English or Romanian?
English, sorry.
English, perfect. Thank you very much for inviting me. I accepted this invitation just because, as Loreda, as our friends that are speakers today and you'll introduce, we are trying for lots of years to have what we have today. So actually we are celebrating the fact that we are here and we are fighting for the reasons and the values and the principles that gathers us here.
We'll get there. Okay. The next speaker is also a person that is doing a lot in terms of marketing communication for a well-known platform, Best Jobs. Please allow me to introduce Ana Vishian. Is it the right name, Vishian? Okay, because a lot of people say Vishan.
It doesn't work. Works? It works.
Works.
That's the common name, but thanks.
It's Vishian. Okay, yes. Super. Thank you. And last but not least, physically, because we also have a guest online from the States, from United States of America. But physically here we have Florin Tătaru, HR Director, Phoenix Group. And he will present a lot of brands, a lot of names that you know. Okay?
Okay. Should I present myself? Yes.
A little bit, yes.
Okay. So I'm representing Phoenix Group, Phoenix Pharma, actually, which is the biggest distributor of medicine in Europe and also the biggest pharmacy operator in Europe. We are operating here in Romania with under 3 brands. Parmexim, which is a distributor, Helnet, which is the chain, the retail chain, and also El Pharma, which is a provider for services for the producers. So this is me. Let's see.
Okay, super. Thank you for coming, taking the time on a Friday afternoon to be here with us. And I'm sure you're here because we want to make a difference and we want to make D&I to be more present in each company and everywhere. My guest from the States is also present online. So hello, James. How are you? Can you hear us?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, I can. I can hear very well.
Okay, perfect. So let me also present to you Dr. James Polk, which I know for 20 years because he was my director at some point in an equal opportunity program at SUNY Binghamton, remember? Long time ago. Long time ago. And he has a great corporation. He's an entrepreneur and he has a great corporation doing a lot of events and activities and consultancy into connecting people with themselves and people connecting with others. And he has great things done on D&I that I've seen over the years. And I'm sure he will share with us great information because he's doing globally a lot of things. I know he's going to Africa pretty soon with his mother. And he's very global. So we want to know globally what the trends are and what are the things that Dr. Polk see and can share with us. But first, let's start with Leo. here next to me, which I know, as I said, for many, many, many years. And he's an entrepreneur, and he has a doctorate and a master in communication in Canada. And he studied economics and polytechnical, and he's doing business, and he's doing consultancy, and he has owned his company, and he's writing books, and he's on TV. And okay, so tell me, from your perspective, from your clients, from recruitment, from consultancy, what do you think it's needed in terms of being empathic in order to be successful, in terms of inclusion, in terms of getting diversity into companies? And I also know that you do stays in interviews, which is a great product that I love. Do you manage during the stays interview to find input on complaints or things that candidates or people in the organizations share with you? Is we need more, we want something else? Everything that you can share with us is very valuable to us.
You are a very dear friend to me. I was nice to you. Why do you put these questions to me? No, I'm kidding. Well, I will have in my mind when you put the questions belonging and identifying. And I will speak about those two concepts. In recruitment, when we are choosing a job, if we are not needed, meaning that if I don't have a loan and I need whatever in order to go to work, I will choose whatever in order to go to work and to gain some money. Yes, it's very common. Yes, we all did that, and probably there are people that are still doing it. But if you want a place where you develop yourself, where you feel good, where you feel that your values are on the same page with the values or the principles of the company, now we are talking about performance, or we are talking about career. Till that moment, we are talking about job, or as we say in Romanian, scârbici. Mă duc la scârbici. Yeah, we are not talking about, well, I'm going to my workplace where I need and I will speak with James about that project. I will speak with, no, they will put a deadline. Oh, I have a meeting. So yes, this is what is happening now. But I saw a lot of people, especially Gen Z generations, few millennials, who are actually choosing the workplace if it's equal or it's an equal between their values, the company's values, and the candidate values. That will be amazing. We are doing recruitment for many, many years. We are looking for this kind of match. Not all the time we are having it, but we are doing the compromise and we are sending candidates most suitable for that positions. So this is the recruitment. About stay interviews. Yes, I'm speaking with people, with thousands of people on this kind of projects, and in 20 minutes, 30 minutes each, I discovered that it's not just about the money. People don't want just to be treated like operators or team leaders or whatever. They are specialists. They want to see the big pictures. They want to understand why they are there. They want to understand what the colleagues are doing in front of his operations and after him. And this is the job related. If we are talking about them, and there are lots of people, they want to be seen like they are. They want authenticity. They want not to be judged, and still we are judging in Romania. Who is telling me Romania is not homophobe or it's a very inclusive country? It's a joke. And there are people still afraid to speak about what they like or what they are or what they believe in. Yes. So that part with identifying, belonging to a community, yes, we can see that retention is very good, or the companies where the people are not living is where they are creating communities of the people and where people are friends, colleagues between them. So yes, it's much harder another company to target and to take you from there just because you are not leaving the company, you are leaving your environment, your community, your friends. So it's much more difficult. Only if it's for a big amount of money, but it's not the case, especially this in the next year. and the identifying, if I'm identifying me myself with the company that developed me, that invest in my development, then it's even better to retain the people in this kind of situation. So basically, in my opinion, as a end conclusion, for me, recruitment, we are doing what we can. I hope I will have the time, I will catch the time as a professional when people will accept jobs because they feel good there first. Second, the working process to allow the people to be themselves, to speak about the values, what they like, what they are, what they want to do, what the projects they have in mind. And in terms of retaining, allow people and develop people in the way or in the career path they want to.
Thank you, Leo. Just want to add one thing. You are right. We are far away from where we're supposed to be. And indeed, a lot of people don't choose a career or a job for what they want to do or because they're passionate about that thing, but because they need the money or they need a job or whatever. But I see a shift because before the pandemic, people were not as choosy, as selective as they are now. Now they want hybrid, or they want remote, or they want close to home, or they want an industry or another. So we are going in that direction. It's just very slow, but I think we are, in terms of HR, we are, recruitment in special, we are going in that direction. So thank you very much. And we will take questions from the public at the end. But let me move to Anna. Yes. And I know Best Jobs is doing a lot of difference presenting and in terms of marketing and communication, and they have now pictures of the people on the site, which I liked very much. I know you're doing a lot of activities and you put the salaries on your site and you do a lot of many things. The question that I have for you, because I know you have a lot of reports, a lot of data, a lot of input from all these candidates, is in terms of multi-generation, in terms of young people, how many jobs are there, and how many jobs that don't require any experiences are there, and how can a young person find a job that's going to be the right job and not need to jump from job to job? And maybe you have data from your site on companies asking for some specificity at some jobs.
There are a lot of questions, and indeed we are trying to look at the data and numbers, what we see on the platform, and we try to ask also the candidates and the companies what they want, what they need, and try to meet them at the middle. When we're talking about the young generation, and here I would say like 18 years old, 24 years old, that meaning the Gen Z at its best, they know what they want, and I think this should be a thing that we must learn from them, because they have specific requirements, what they want from their job, from their life, their expectations, their 9 to 5, their benefits, so far and so forth. And I think they are more grounded than we suspect them, because they are getting more and more informed. And this is a thing that we've done on the platform about the salaries, because that was the main trigger in every discussion, because some of the candidates were asking too much, the companies were offering too low, and everybody was unhappy. And we try to educate this, expecting also the European directive to put the salaries on scene. And we started a campaign 2 years ago regarding this, but it's not a that taboo anymore, because this young generation are really looking on this. For example, I've observed, since I'm watching the data, the young generations are applying more and more meaning that almost a third a part of the whole applications on 1 month, August, for example, was made by young generation, 18-24. And this percentage grew of year over the year. If you were looking, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago, they were meaning just 20% of the whole applications, the whole volume. Now they are going to 30%, and the numbers are growing, especially in springtime and in autumn. In springtime, because all the traineeships, internships are appearing, and they prepare for the summer jobs and summer experience, which is amazing because the companies are still doing them despite all the economical difficulties and stuff like that. And on autumn, when there is a little bit more challenge and another thing they ask from the companies, because they take jobs that must be done in the same time with the studies with university. And there are many companies that offer flexibility, part-time jobs, and flexibility on our hours of working, which is great because they encourage the young generations to come to apply. Regarding the domains where there are a lot of jobs available for young generations, where the companies are not asking that much experience or very, very low experience or no experience, are especially in retail, consultancy, in sales. Yes, this is a very good domain because you just learn the product and the services and some sales techniques, and you go on the market. The salaries are very interesting in this area. Marketing, it's very, very attractive for the candidates. Of course, IT, it was IT&C, it was very attractive. Now maybe it's a little bit too hard to get on a job in IT if you don't have experience or projects. Logistics and tourism, especially in summertime when there are a lot of offers. But of course, also during the time, I don't know, I'm just pointing here some coffee shops. There are a lot of coffee shops around, and young generations are attracted to this kind of job because you just go in. Basically, you do public relations because you speak with the customers, but you do have some experience in your CV. What else? About the benefits they ask, it's all related to flexibility, as you were saying. If they wanna and they need to work remote or hybrid, they just ask for it. Somehow they are looking for companies and the purpose, and their work to have a purpose, but not just on paper and on walls, just to feel it and to see that it's happening. And of course, a lot of respect on their time and work and them as humans. Respect my time during weekends, during after hours. And what we've seen, besides the material benefits, lunch tickets, free days, and so on, career planning and help on visualizing something further, help with learning platforms, a mentor, I don't know, programmed on other departments to see where they can fit better. Around here, it's where the young generation is aiming and is looking for. And unfortunately, the most opportunities that are nicely packed as I presented them are especially in big cities, not in small cities and in country, in villages. And many of the young people are willing to relocate to come in the cities, but it's pretty hard at that point in life as a youngster.
Okay, so if we are to conclude, and I totally agree with you, the young generation know exactly what they want. They're not open to compromises as we used to be 100 years ago. And they are more selective again. I think applying for jobs on platforms and being online more than offline, it's a tendency we are going towards.
Yeah, and I would like to add and put a very hard stroke that young people want to work and they are willing to learn and they are willing to invest time in the first job. It's a myth that they are lazy. They are. I can see my own colleagues, which are much younger. They are very eager to learn, to try things, but just respect their time and their human being.
Yes, they like very much to contribute. They like very much to be part of a group or of a team, and also they are. I will not say lazy because doesn't sound very good, but they taking shortcuts and they finding solutions much faster in order not to invest
And
a lot
that's
of.
amazing.
And that's amazing.
Yes.
And that's amazing. Many times I have to ask people in my teams, how did you do that? Because they're smart. They're just because they don't want to waste time.
And it's very interesting because we've seen in almost all CVs of young generation that they know foreign languages, which they've learned by their own, and they have digital skills. And that's a very big scale of digital skills, which is amazing for a company to take that from and get used with this.
So for him, I assume it was difficult to create strategies of diversity and inclusion because, for example, in energy, probably you have more male than you have female, and in pharmacies, probably you have more female than you have males. So it's hard to create and to implement strategies. So how do you manage it?
Yeah, actually, that's true. That's true. Energy, of course, lots of men, and it's not only that. Let's say the company doesn't want, let's say, to have women in the board, but if you are go to university, then for sure polytechnical universities, I would say 90%. I think men. Maybe I exaggerating, but still. While we are going to pharmacy like now, it's probably the same, more or less. I'm the diversity in my department. For sure, it's the same. It's HR. It's also a female-dominated, let's say, area. But I would say, in this moment, it's crucial to have a diversity inclusion strategy. And it's not only because you are doing the right thing. Okay, I'm putting aside this. This is obvious. You are doing the right thing. But then, a company like ours, almost 2,000 of our employees, of our colleagues, are facing patients, clients every day. So clients that are different, clients that are very diverse, different needs, ages, ethnicities, even now, and because now it's increased. Actually, also Romania becoming more diverse, and lots of needs. And our idea is clear: we need to mirror our customer base, because this way we can understand them better and serve them better. Because then, of course, you have a person that is, it's 50 years old or 60 years old, is coming and have some needs. So we are building on this, and we are measuring like everybody. I think all the multinationals usually started to measure. Okay, starting from the, let's say, easy things like a number of female in the board, number of different things. This is one thing. But then what we are doing, and what I think also some other companies are doing, because we're not the only ones, we are trying to break down let's say, the population in the company, trying to understand if we are doing enough for them, not only to recruit them, but to retain them. Because, okay, we have for sure people that have a different age. Now we are launching new businesses, we are launching different things, and we are recruiting people from outside. Generally, we are trying to promote sometimes, because, okay, we have skills in the company, but sometimes we don't have the skills in the company because it's a new area for us. So you tend, usually you are, as a businessman, you are, let's say, focused. You are, okay, we need to recruit, we need to fill in the position. Then you focus on what you need for the people that we are recruiting. And sometimes you forget that actually you should start first with the internal part, to be sure that, okay, this is happening also in your company, and your different cohorts of people with different needs. It's actually, they are also happy and they stay with you and they contribute. because they have different skills. And we are doing different, like mentorships, both in both ways, from, let's say, young people to new people, so reverse mentorship basically, from, let's say, for people with more experience to the young ones. So we are doing everything like this. So I think it's critical for any company to do this. Then, of course, you measure the KPIs. It's always, if you measure, you start to do things. If you don't measure, then okay. It's a nice concept. It's a nice PowerPoint, but then usually it remains a PowerPoint because you always have different things to do. So you need to follow.
Sounds like a great strategy to do and to measure. Sounds simple from this side. Okay, thank you, Florin. Let's turn to our guest from the States and find out more about global trends in diversity and inclusion, and also things that you're doing in all over the world globally, Dr. Pogue, because you're doing amazing things. Thank you. I will take questions from the public for the three of you that are here. Let's see.
Ask me anything.
Salary?
Curious. We have a very diverse panel, and thank you very much for training. I'm very interested in how you see job boards functioning. And for sure, each one of you recruits for various set of roles. What is the future of job boards? Are people still getting hired for job boards, and what sort of trends are you observing there?
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, how can we make maybe job boards more effective to drive diversity into our organizations?
I'll take that first answer. It's a very good question because job boards are the first stop for any person that wants to, still in Romania actually, that wants to change the job. At first, they are going to see some salaries, some opportunities, some open roles, etc., etc. Then they are starting to update the resume, the CV. Then they are seeing what the companies are recruiting, or they are thinking about the companies they want to work for. And if they don't find them there, they're just going on the company website, which is very important to be updated. So it's a living thing and a living place where people will always find their jobs, and companies are using the job boards not just for the open role that are on the moment, but for sourcing and finding people for the next roles and trying to fill in also in diversity way of looking at the things. And of course the HR agencies are sourcing people from job boards. The databases we have, whatever the name of the job board is, it's amazing, it's huge, and basically this is one of our main thing to do, to bring people and be updated there for the next opportunity. So we've seen a lot of events outside and futuristic stuff, but people will always be there with a resume, with their experience, and will need a start point, a first point to start and look after the next job. Even it's the first one, even it's a next one.
Is it okay? Well, I started recruitment where there were not online portal jobs, so on and so forth. So the only tool that we have, it was the CV printed and received at the gate of the factory. And one per month, the supplement of Romania Liberă, it was called Munca, and we were allowed to put some job ads there. I can say it was a big improvement what happened from the last 25 years ago in our local work market. So yes, we have job portals online. Yes, we have a lot of things that ease our work in order to find candidates. 25 years ago, I was also the same recruitment consultant. So I was doing the job, and the job actually changed radically. I can tell you that this year is the first year I saw a very good workshop about recruitment marketing. And it was a complaint that we don't find candidates through the job portals. And they said, okay, but did you see what text you put there? So right now there are lots of workshops about recruitment marketing that helps in order to target and to put the right words there in order to have the results you're expecting it.
Yes. Here you are.
So the floor is yours.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. All right. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity to speak on a few of these critical issues. But have three things that I want to share. The first is something that kind of undergirds all of them, and it is that when I look at trends throughout the U.S. and we do work in Asia and we do work in Europe and we do work in the States and expanding now out into the African continent. And one of the pieces that has been consistent throughout is that there is organizations are much more successful when the people are more deeply connected and meaningfully connected. They're more innovative, they're more creative, they're more productive, and they're more profitable. But there are things that get in the way of those connections. There's wobbles that get in the way of those connections. And some of those things that get in the way of connection are what we would call sort of our diversity spectrum of different pieces of inclusion. And of those that currently exist, right? We count 9 or so of them. But one of them that is really, I think, has taken front seat is a global challenge around gender that has re-emerged. There are some organizations that thought that they had done a pretty good job at it, but then it has started to bubble up over and over and over again. We see it in our social interactions with people. You all may be familiar with what happened with the Taylor Swift concert, and then the individuals, the male young men individuals who tried to cause all kinds of havoc and end the lives of many young women. Right? There's a gender break there. There's a gender break when it comes to elections, where the men folk, the young men especially, are over here voting or behaving in one area, and their female counterparts are over here. And then it is showing up in the entry level positions all the way through our senior level positions. We have come up with in the past words and ideas and concepts to sort of lower the temperature on some of these pieces around gender, but it is bubbling up in more significant ways. So one that is one trend, and so one piece of advice that I provide here to you as business leaders, as organizational leaders, is to take a look inside of your organizations and look at it through the lens of gender, and look at the challenges through the lens of gender and see what you see. Right. And then begin to address them in meaningful ways. One example question that I provided to a client was they were looking at senior level positions. They're in their C suite and their board, and they believed that they needed or wanted more women to be there to represent more equitably the people that they serve. I said, okay, then what you're telling me then is that being a woman is of value. In and of itself, it is of value. Then you have to put a number on that. And you have to be able to discuss that out loud. Otherwise, we're just sort of playing at the edges. We have to say out loud that this person, because of what they represent, that part of who they represent is extremely important, and therefore it is valuable. So we must figure out how to measure its value. I'm not saying that it's always easy. I'm saying that it is something that leaders have to jump into sort of face first. The second thing that I would say is that there is a challenge around trying to find what are the pieces of difference that affect the most people the most, right? What affect the most people the most. Most of us don't have all the time in the world. Most of us don't have all the resources in the world. Most of us don't have all the people in the world to solve all of the challenges first. So we have to do the hard work as leaders, when this is extremely difficult, of saying to people that we care about, ideas that we care about, concepts that we care deeply about, that's going to have to wait until next cycle. That's going to have to wait until next time, because we've only got $1 to spend. We've only got €1 to spend. And then where are we going to put that $1 on one area of effort? What I suggest to people is that socioeconomic or economics, if you have to drill it down even more, is the issue that affects, infect and affects disenfranchised or underrepresented groups most. And we can get distracted away from economic by some of the other challenges that really are real challenges that really exist.
But if you have to take it, if you can take the time to identify what is the most critical area that affects the most people the most, I might suggest you to start with socioeconomics as one piece and then work backwards here. Think about that challenge of gender within the context and the constructs of your organizations. That if it's bubbling up in the world and it's bubbling up socially and it's bubbling up in the websites of varying types, it's likely bubbling up in your organization as well.
So what are you saying is that at the bottom of everything, it's connections, and the deeper and the better the connections are, the better results we will
100%.
have?
100%. If organizational leaders are deeply connected to one another, if organizational leaders are deeply connected to their team members, if organizational leaders are deeply connected to the vision of the organization, all of the pieces that I just mentioned before, now you can have more meaningful conversations around gender and what is the value of having a woman on the team versus the man, all things being equal professionally. What is the value of us focusing on socioeconomics or economics as a primary challenge that we want to try to solve either in our organizations or in our communities? You can't have those conversations if there is not a meaningful connection between the leaders, the team members, and the vision. And so identifying how you can measure that. There is a variety of assessments that may be out there. The one that we use is called Connection Quotient, and I'm happy to. I'll send out to the team our link to that so you can test it out and see if it's something that works for you, or just maybe it sparks some ideas about how you want to address the challenge moving forward. But focusing on connection so that you can have the impossible conversations that must happen. Last piece. What I'm suggesting is not easy. For some people, they might say, man, this is big work. This is impossible work. And I would say to us that most of us sitting here, what it is that I'm saying, have already done something that's impossible. You probably shouldn't be sitting in the seats that you are. You went to the wrong school, had the wrong parents, you grew up on the wrong side of the community, you grew up in the wrong country, speaking the wrong language, but here you are, and you're very successful, and you're moving forward with your lives and pushing your organization forward. This piece around deep connection and making it happen, benefit, balancing out this gender challenge, having conversations about economics is just the next impossible thing that we all have to do.
Okay, thank you very much. Another comment that I want to make, when I came back from the States in Romania many years ago, it was very important to have the quota of female in the boards and to have a lot of females in the organization, and things changed. Even in Romania, things changed. We care more about other things. We care about special needs. We care about diversity. We are not there, and it's a long way to go. But do you see this tendency in the States as well? It's not only about gender. It's much more, much deeper than that.
Yes, I do think that is accurate. That 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, the big two or three were probably race and gender. And then maybe around the edges, LGBTQ, that community was starting to get some traction. I would just reinforce that we have to be careful about being distracted by very important things towards other things that we might be able to get more traction on. One of the clear challenges around, say, for example, the LGBTQ community in the U.S. and other places is that underneath or within that community, the T of the LGBTQ community is getting a lot of attention, and deservedly so. But what ends up happening is it pulls some of the attention away from some challenges that we might be able to navigate around gender. So I think that gender still remains a significant issue. It still remains a significant issue. But if we're careful, focus on the details, very important detail, and not be able to make progress on some of the pieces that connect underneath. And the piece that I'm suggesting that does is economics.
Okay, thank you so very much. Let's see if we have any other questions from the people in the room. Anyone? No? Okay. I will have another one question. Let's see who's ready to answer this one. And this is the last for today. How do you see EDI in Romania? Because I know a lot of companies are doing some activities and they have a strategy and they're trying some things, and some companies don't seem to be there yet. But from your own experiences, I do have clients which are very active and very present. I have some clients which are so. And also from the candidates' perspective, very few candidates with special needs are applying to jobs or even present on different platforms, stating the fact that they need and they have special needs. How do you see that, and how can we change that? Because I would like to have in my projects this kind of people involved, but it's hard for me to hunt for them if they don't apply. Now today I have like 5 or 6 CVs, and I'm very glad for that. But usually they don't, and I kind of know the answer, but I want to see what's your perspective on that. Why?
It's a process and it's a change, and changes are not, especially on our mentality here, are not passing and changing too fast. Imagine that 30-40 years ago the parents were not proud having a child with problem, and they were keeping it in the house, so not going to a special school in order the other, I don't know, neighbors, relatives, big family laugh about them because they have a child with problem. So we cannot change that picture image that fast with what we are now. And still now we are here in Bucharest. We are in a bubble. If we are going 1 hour away from Bucharest or in a rural area, the reality it's not what we are talking here. So it's a process, it's a change. There are company very inclusive and with a very clear and good strategies in EDI, but there are companies at the beginning reluctant in order what the actual employees will think if we will hire in their teams a colleague with different type of problems. So I saw, as you are, with different clients in different stages of this process. But it's a process. Let's have some patience, and we cannot change it. It's not that fast. If it's fast, it's just a BIFA check in a check mark somewhere in a procedure just because the headquarter say to do it. If it's slow, I think it's much more stable and it will be much more sustainable in the future.
Thank you. Anna?
From the job boards perspectives, we Best Jobs and other Best Jobs, we are the middlemen here. Our main duty is maybe to inform and make awareness about it. That's on one side, we encourage companies to make a proper employer branding profile, to update their pages, to put their movies, photos, text about what they're doing, what the programs are, because just making them visible, people in this context will know about it and will be more encouraged to apply. On the other side, the people that are in this context, the first thing we say is just apply, be present, act like everybody else, just be there, because the recruitment process should be based on equality of opportunity and chances, and based on your skills, your knowledge, your education, what you know to do, and your resume. And that's the starting point, not your disability, not your, just that is the first thing you should put in front, and just be there, be active, act normal. I think this is the main message we can say. And with awareness coming from organizations, coming from events like this, people will know, and it's a process, as you were saying, how to act in the recruitment process in this context.
Thank you. Florin?
I will add just a couple of words. Even we HR, we are talking too much usually. But let's say a couple of
It's
words.
never
because,
too much.
sometimes, we in offices, we are in love with our concepts. I'm also, I have this issue. Sometimes, I'm designing a project, put the comma here, put the comma there. Okay, how good could we refine it? And some 2-3 days ago, I was talking with some colleagues in the pharmacy, talking about what we'll do, concepts, things like this. And she said, Florin, I understand what you mean, the future, everything. And how big things, how many things and big things we'll do next year or whenever. But we need the small things. We need to solve this. Like we were talking about stocks, about having the medicines in the pharmacy, like this. So before the big concepts and everything, let's solve these small things. I think is the same here, because we have there are lots of companies, including big multinational companies, that have nice projects, very good concepts, very, very nice projects. But I would say, okay, let's go and see in the big buildings in Ipera or wherever, how many offices are prepared to, let's say, accommodate in a way, let's say, people with special needs. Starting from the basic, you have a wheelchair, you have to go there, you have to enter, you have to have an office that would accommodate you, and then so on. And this is, let's say, this is the
That's a very good point.
the easiest thing. And then, yes, of course, the concepts you measure, you do whatever, other programs.
But do you have accessibility for people to come to you before
Exactly.
you do anything
Let's
else?
start with the small things. Let's do the small things, and then we can, let's say, build also on big concepts.
James, what can we do in order for people with special needs to be aware, to have self-confidence, and to apply for jobs that are fitted for them, not to any job, and to participate into interviews, to be like Anna said, you have the competencies, you have the experience, be like the others. What can we do?
I think the first is a concept, and that is we can't leave it to the person who's been disenfranchised to be the one that carries the burden of solving the problem. It is the challenge of the organizations. It is the challenge of the governmental agencies, whether cities, state, federal governmental agencies, to move the big pieces out to the field and move the big pieces out to the community. It's a marketing concept that says, hey, all people are welcome. Can you do the job? Can you think through the job? Can you lift what needs to be lifted? Can you move what needs to be moved? If you can, we want to hire you. I don't think you can accidentally normalize new ideas. There was a time when women in the workplace was just a very strange thing. And why would we want women to be over here? And we had to push it and push it and push it. I think there's some lessons from that we can bring over here. It takes commitment. It takes perseverance. It takes realistic and aggressive benchmarks. But it also takes putting the pressure where the pressure needs to be. And I think going to our folks that have special needs or differently abled and saying, you need to do more, is a massive weight for them to have to carry, when the majority of that weight can be held by the organizations, how they're marketing their positions, how they're sharing those positions, where the job boards are that they're utilizing. Are they partnering with the particular organizations that have deep pools of these kinds of individuals? And yes, there is some work that has to be done by our special needs persons, differently abled persons, so that they can make themselves ready, right? In the same ways that we wanted women to be ready and other folks to be ready when the opportunities presented themselves. But we have to put, I believe, the lion's share of effort on the organizations and the city, federal, and local governmental agencies to move the big pieces in what needs to be moved.
Wonderful. I totally agree. Yes. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions from the audience. Okay.
Hello, I'm Camelia Platt from Light into Europe charity. We are one of the, let's say, bread and butter providers of disability services. We've been doing it for about 20 years. And I have a question as a sharing experience, if you want. Everything that you're saying here is very valid and very profound, and connectivity and taking the intersectionality and put it in practice. My question is, what are we doing to prepare young people with disabilities for the labor market? How do we ensure, as the beneficiaries of the formative process, that students or graduates with disabilities do receive the qualifications and the education that the labor market requires? We are in the process of putting on the market, if you want, the first generation of ambassadors of inclusion and accessibility, young people with disabilities who are going to speak loud and clear on what it means to make accessible. And what you're saying is so right. But coming back, how can we ensure that their education is not only on the low level and qualifications will be just on paper? Because that is actually the problem. Thank you.
That's a very, very good
Thank you,
question.
very
A
good
very
question.
profound question. Yes. I think here it should be a strategy. The first of all, the family, that the parents that should be involved and interested in order to provide the best education, but the real education, not the diplomas that we are used to receive when we receive candidates, no matter what type of candidates. People, and in Romania, having diplomas was very nice to have. But I think the parents, first of all, the second thing, the parents should have the infrastructure where to go with the children in order to for real learn some or develop some abilities, or to have a real job qualification, not just a diploma. And of course, I think on the other side, a coaching or a counselor should be all the time in contact with the child, with the child, in order to make him understand what's the reality on the job trade. And now put this to everybody, not just to a different perspective, because everybody needs that. Every child, no matter what he has or not has, needs a real qualification, needs the support of the parents who are working till 10 o'clock in the evening for a career, and needs a proper system, educational, where it's not giving you the title or the diploma or the certificate just because you answered 3 questions, but because you really have abilities. And most important, have that vocational or consultant, whatever the name it is, in schools, but not as a checking box there, for real, to understand, to develop, to see what are the abilities of this child, matching with what the human company's economy needs in that moment. Thank you.
Please do. Okay. That's a tough question because I don't think anybody can assure. I mean, it's a work process, and it's a process that it's coming from schools, universities, and so on, and it's kind of difficult to do this without the organizations and the volunteers and all this part. Me myself, I've tried to be involved in this part and trying to, I don't know, open minds for young people, what they want to do, help them do their CVs, explore some stuff like that. But it's very important to come from school, actually. And if the family can guide and support the young person to go to communities, to groups, to get informed, to discover what they need. I don't know, a therapist maybe around. That's amazing. I know it's not possible in any case. On the other side, the job boards, because I'm representing a job board, it's quite difficult to label, and I would not do that in any case in the recruitment process. I would not label a resume, a CV with any kind of disability, but I would encourage further the companies to talk about their programs and the facilities they have having this kind of programs, and all the taxes they can spare, and everything that the government is offering. So I think it's a workaround, and if every part is doing a little bit of work and thinks about it, what they can do, it will help on the future. But definitely, I don't know that somebody can assure success, fully success. I'm coming from a very small town where definitely the companies there and every entrepreneur there it's not even 1% aware of this kind of issues. So speak, communicate, influence. The young people now are using a lot of social platforms, and they can talk about it, and they can go viral and make it visible. So the workaround it's for everybody.
I hate to throw stones in the educational system. I will say this from the beginning, just to because now I will throw some stones, but I hate to do it because I still believe the educational system should be the backbone of what is happening. So coming back, I think Romania and the educational system in Romania, it's still so focused on the, let's say, generating the top performance. We are so proud of, we have 10 people that they are Olympics in this, which is fine. It's, of course, you should be proud. You have some students or pupils that are going there. Still, I think that the system should be focused more on the average level, not rising the average level, not focusing on this top 10% or whatever, one thing. And second, focusing on not leaving behind the people. Because this is important, because then, I saw, I have, my wife is working in, say, an organization that it's somehow focused on the coaching system. So I have some knowledge, I know some things. We are, even here in Bucharest, we are still, so focused on the top. But if we are going, but still, it's a different story. But if we are going, as somebody said, I don't know who exactly, 10 kilometers from Bucharest, even here, 10 kilometers from Bucharest, 10 kilometers from Brasov, or I'm not saying some other areas that are well known, I'll not repeat it. School is not focused on what should be school. And second, professors and the system, generally speaking, not only the professor, are not ready for this. So we'll have to invest even more in the next generation of professors. That will be important, because it will not happen in one day. It will happen in time. But then it's a story. First you put some money, prepare the professors, both, let's say, technically, but also on this area, and then slowly, the system will start working. But then you have to measure this. I don't think we have. I know that, for example, there are some merit gradation for the professors, and they are counting how many people they are sending to how many Olympics you have. Let's focus on the average. Let's focus on how many people you left behind, and then you'll see. And
very good.
And not only this, just one thing, last thing, especially in let's say in the rural area, but let's say in the smaller, this should be, we should ask the mayor what is happening. because it's responsible not only the teacher. We should ask the school, the priest. We should ask the director of the school. So they are the main actors there. They should be also responsible. This is maybe it's too rhetorical, but still, I think.
No,
where to go.
you're right. You're right. And I know Dr. Pogue has raised his hand, so probably he has something to say. And we
Sure.
invite you to Romania to see how the educational system works or not works. Because I know in America it's totally different, but I'm curious what's your input on this question.
Sure. What I would add is I think that there's a piece that does run consistent, and the term being Machiavellian comes to mind. That is to consider that these businesses are often interested in being profitable. And if that is the case, what happens if we align our desires to their business problem? Right. This then becomes the business case, and this is how, in the other aspects of ED&I, how we've gotten to be successful over time to frame our desire as a solution to their business problem. So, how might we identify a potential business partner and sit with them and say, "Tell me about your top 2 or 3 biggest business problems," and then we have to go and do the hard work of organizing how we can provide them a solution with these talented people, right? Who come with different sets of abilities, different ways of seeing the world, but we frame it as a business solution because we know that many of these organizations and businesses are very interested in remaining and being profitable. Now we become part of this a broader solution that they want to happen too, right? So that would be my thought. We instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, right? Instead of trying to swim upstream, we find out what stream they want to go down. And we find a way to help them go down that stream faster, more efficiently, with our people, our team of people as part of that process. That does require some innovative thinking on our part, does require some creative thinking on our part, and requires some humility in making partnerships with some of these businesses. Sometimes we see as the bad people. But these bad people can help us win if we can all be on the same team and figure out how we can help them win, helps us win, and the reverse.
Okay. Just to answer from my point of view, your question, because it's a very good question, I can tell you that I know people with special needs that are very successful and they have doctorate and they doing a lot of work to help others. And Alexandra, it's one of example, and Stefan present here, it's another example, and a lot of them. And in those cases, because I analyzed why are they like that, the family was a great supporter, and the families or people around them were fighting the system. And also they have the will, the drive, I want to do more, I can do. For me, Stefan, which was in our team, and it was Robert's idea to bring Stefan in our organization a while ago, he was swimming and he was riding bikes and he was doing things that I don't do. And I was amazed. He was an inspiration because he was curious. He wanted to try, and his family was supportive. He was backing him up. So I think before changing the systems and the educational systems, and which is far away, I think family, it's important. Education will come, but slow. But I think us as organization, investing in them to be self-aware, to increase their confidence, because there are a lot of talented people that don't dare, don't want, don't believe they can access things they should access. And that's what I think it's this discussion about, to help them believe in themselves, see themselves for what values they can bring and for their abilities, and help them be part and trust themselves. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And any other questions? Any other comments? Okay. This video will be streamed, and I think you register, right? So okay. So we can share it with all of you. And thank you again, Florin, Anna, Leo, James, and all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you also.